Oh, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, outsiders of all ages, the Longhorns did it again. What were you worried about? They're 6-2, getting ready for Vanderbilt. We are the Outsiders, brought to you by Poncho. Rocking a little Poncho shirt myself. Bo's got one of them hoodies on that everybody talks about. There's all kinds of good Poncho stuff. Let me give you one more reminder since October is coming to an end to go pink. 50% of the profits from those pink poncho shirts, let me see if I can do it, will be donated to Casting for Recovery, helping fund free fly fishing wellness retreats for breast cancer patients. It's a great organization, and they have some really cool shirts in the pink department. They also have shooting shirts. Got some new shooting shirts for you. You need a Redfield, need a Roosevelt. By the way, I had to put that mustache in that picture with that Roosevelt because it might be the most perfect thing in the world. Go to ponchooutdoors.com/outsiders for $10 off your first order. The Roosevelt. No Jason Dick this week. He's taking care of a few things. Jason, we hope you are doing well. Let's just be honest. He's taking care of Arch Manning because Arch is in the protocol, and Jason is outside the building banging on the window trying to figure out how Arch is doing.
I know where he is.
Where is he?
So if you Google what is going on at the Paramount Theater this week, you got confused.
Yes.
Outsiders, it's The Outsiders, the musical, is at Paramount all week. Jason's not confused, and he thinks he has an acting performance. I don't know whether he's playing Pony Boy or Derry or any of them, Soda Pop, but he thinks he's acting in The Outsiders, the musical at the Paramount. He just missed our show.
So right in the middle of it, he's going to run on stage right before they tackle him. It's a dick move. And then, yeah. Then
tickets may still be available, folks. I have no idea, but that's Jason Dick in a cameo performance as part of The Outsiders, the musical, for the next 2 weeks.
Hey, get down there if you can. We debuted the show on a Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Texas gets the win over Mississippi State, but it was another wild one. Gentlemen, let's get your reactions to it. I want to know from both of you guys as Longhorn fans, just tell me how you lived through that one, because certainly it looked like they were going to lose it. I would argue two big moments where it felt like they were going to lose it, and then they didn't. Bo, let me start with you, the pure fan opinion. Then we'll get the fan / I used to play the game opinion, because I'm sure Chance's blood pressure was going crazy. But give me your fan perspective here. How did you take that one in?
Well, let's just say as someone who's still dealing with some issues internally where stress and anxiety are not good. Let's just say I took a lot of meds. And I'm not talking about gummy beers I'm talking about actual meds to keep me from getting in trouble, because I was as stressed out as you could be. And y'all know I'm an eternal optimist on these things. Like, I'll call bad, but this was bad how should I put this? I'm actually kind of on the same line as where Sark was at after the game, where maybe this is exactly what this team needed to come together and quit the finger pointing and quit the infighting. And they all said the right things at press conferences, but there may have been this was the game where it seemed like everybody was like the sidelines looked dead coming out of halftime. Like, for a game that was still well in doubt, the sidelines looked dead. But if you saw the sidelines as after Niblett's touchdown and after everything transpired after that, the entire team was jumping and yelling and cheering for each other. So we'll see what comes of this, but I think the optimist in me says this is the Kansas 4th and 17 type moment where all of a sudden everybody gets it. And was it because they stopped blitzing and our line could pick up normal rushes and things of that nature? Maybe, but maybe, just maybe, this is what the team needed to get motivated headed into a week against a top 10 opponent at home.
Chance, what do you think?
Well, I'll tell you how I survived the game is, did y'all ever watch Mad TV growing up?
A little bit.
Do you remember the skit that they used to do called Lowered Expectations?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how I survived it. Like, I had I just, look, I said during the game, and I think I actually tweeted it out, that, like, I'm lowered my expectations. I'm just going to enjoy watching a team that I love, and I'm going to root for them. But I'm not going to let it get under my skin because obviously they can't perform to the level that which we thought, the level that was sold to us. Now, can they? I think they could, but I'm not expecting it anymore because we're 7-8 games in. And, it's frustrating to me because I see us do things and I go, all right, that's what I want to see. We come out in that opening drive and you see what a man-child Wingo can be, how big and powerful and fast he can be. And then you've got a 3rd and 9, and it hits him right in the hands with nothing but green grass in front of him, and he drops it. Later on in the game, a perfectly called slant that he's walking into the end zone, and he drops it. Like, those things are things that this team, it's just plagued them all year. It's like you get a good run, and it gets called back for holding. Defense, I mean, I'm not going to say the kid's name, but number 17, they came after him all game long, and it was incredible. I watched the defense that, for most of the game, like when they were in 3rd and 4th situations, you've got cornerbacks that are lining up 9 yards off the ball and just giving that stop away for a first down. And it was frustrating. But again, I had lowered expectations. Well, then all of a sudden, I see the offense start getting life. And like Bo said, but maybe it was because they stopped blitzing as much and the line settled in. But I didn't feel like they were going to quit. And then Levy, God love him, 2 things back to back that I thought were absolutely shocking. One, kicking it to Ryan Niblett. Why? Like, that's what can hurt you. Why would you kick it to him? And then after that touchdown, inexplicably, they bring the ball out on a kickoff when they had fair caught every one of them.
Yeah.
And they gave up 15 yards of off. 15 yards. Yeah.
Cost them 10, 15 yards there.
So, Chance, let me tell, like, in my opinion, I think both cases Levy had made different calls, and his players in the moment with the pressure and at home about to beat Texas and get their first SEC win went a little too far. The punter, joking aside, completely outkicked the coverage on a punt where I guarantee you they were just trying to hit it nuclear high and make Niblett fair catch like he had done a couple other times. The kid unleashed the hammer.
Unleashed the hammer to the sideline.
Well,
why are we?
What the directive was, like, there's a reason that he's the punter for Mississippi State who sucks. He didn't do the job. Whether that was Levy's call or not, I don't know, because I guarantee you Levy didn't tell him to kick a 60-yard in the air punt that allowed Niblett to get so much distance and make moves. That was not the punt they wanted to hit there. As far as the guy running it out, you know as well as I do, that kick returner, that was him doing that in the moment on his own. There is no way that he was coached after the whole game not bringing it out on kicks that were way more bring-outable than that one. I think the moment got to the kid and he just went.
It was also an interesting game of inches there to where that ball goes right into the end zone rather than where the kicks had been going. Chance, to your point, all night long it had been 2 or 3 yard line, something like that. Fair catch, take it where they give it to us. That one went that game was so bizarre in terms of all the little stuff. I mean, I watched the game back and still thought they might lose. Well, I mean, it was like I was going through the replay. I'm like, wait, they got out of this, didn't they? How did they get out of this? It was incredible. 2 separate 17-point deficits, and they needed every little bit of it. And on the other side of what you guys were talking about, there was a lot of bad, but then there's also the Livingston catch. Go back and check it. He got it. The Mosley catch in overtime. Go back and check it. He got it. The backup quarterback threw it to him after the starter gets a concussion. And all the stuff where Wingo drops it, But if you don't have Wingo's overall performance, there's no way Texas is in the game. He ends up with 180 yards, whatever it was. And then, Chance, the defense you're talking about, I'm with you. They attacked the middle of the field. Do you think Michael Taft mattered to this defense? Yep. Just like Manny Muhammad mattered against Florida. But Sark pointed it out in the media session this week. Last 4 drives, they allowed 1 first down. Mm-hmm. So the defense did make their plays. Ethan Burke has a monster game in a couple spots.
I was Simmons about to go there.
Right? Simmons and Hill. And so it was everything all at once that had to come together there. They made enough plays. Deserves never mattered. And Jeff Levy's still trying to find an SEC win as Mississippi State's lost 16 in a row. And they kind of showed you why.
Well,
in this game.
And that goes to the point, that I didn't get to finish, but that's the thing. And let's take Bo's premise to heart and say that wasn't Levy, but it is, because it's his job before that guy goes out there to catch the kick. Hey, look, fair catch it.
Mm-hmm.
When before the punter steps out and goes and receives a snap to punt it, get this ball out of bounds, and that shows why they haven't. It's things like that. Those are the difference. And look, I'm so over the winning is hard thing. I am, but I can say this: it was good to get out of there with a win, because those cowbells, and I don't know if you've been there, Chad, but I mean, that stadium, when they've got something to cheer for, can get loud. Those cowbells can get loud, and the fact that they were able to turn it, withstand it, and come and get a win is great.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing that I want is I wanted them in the post game, and I felt like they did a better job this week. I was tired of hearing hey, you got to toast. It's time for a Bills deal. So the Bills, the first 4 games of the season, right? You have a very good win against Baltimore, but the first 3 quarters of that game led to a lot of questions as to what's going on with this team. But then the post game conference afterwards, everybody's like, we got the win. It was a great game. We got the win. Well, then you play the Saints and the Dolphins and and both of those teams are just not good. And then you got the Jets. They're just not good. And after all of those wins, you had the same thing. Hey, winning is hard. Winning, and they wouldn't even let the reporters ask the question, what's going on with this passing game? What's going on with your defense? They're going, we won. Brandon Bean, we've scored 30 points, 17 straight games. What are you talking about? We won. And she weren't even able to ask the question, but there were real holes. And so those holes need to be investigated. And that was my thing that I thought was so much better in the press conference, was you didn't hear as much of that. And there's things that they've got to get to work. And even when you win, yes, good win. But that's not going to be enough to beat Vanderbilt. It's not going to be enough to go to Athens. Sure as hell not going to be enough to go, who I think is the best team in the country, Texas A&M, comes in at the end of the year. That's not going to beat them. And that's just my opinion. And so, yes, it's a good win. But is your ultimate goal to win a game on the road at Kentucky in overtime and to win a game on the road in overtime against Mississippi State? Or is it say, all right, we got the win, but we got a lot of stuff to work on. We got a lot of stuff to fix. Like, that mindset to me, I thought was better after this game than it was a Kentucky game.
We'll keep talking about Texas getting that win and trying to get another one. Can they get to 7-2 by the time they head to Athens? That's what they'll try to pull off. Let's hear from some of our great partners, including Covert Ford. Here's Kimberly.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Covert, and since 1909, the Covert family has been committed to Austin's community. For 116 years, we've grown with Texas, driving progress, building trust, and serving the Austin community. Whether it's the all-new 2025 F-150 or the versatile 2025 Ford Maverick, we're here to help you find the perfect fit, just like we've done for generations. At Covert Ford, it's more than cars. It's about family, service, and a legacy of trust. Visit covertford.com and become part of our story.
All right, we do have the envelope game coming up. We'll see if any of us were smart last week with our envelopes. Real quick before we leave the game discussion, you guys obviously can throw in something else if you want, but y'all know I love nerdy stuff. This is how crazy it was. For Power 4 teams, the last 249 times that somebody trailed by 17 with 10 minutes to go, they lost. 249 in a row. Texas broke that string. That's how wild the game was. When I saw that stat, I'm like, okay, that helps explain what I just watched. It was remarkable. And to Chance's point, I think that's what every fan watching knew deep in their soul, Chance. And I mean this with a completely healthy Arch Manning. Vanderbilt, Georgia, A&M. That exact formula, it doesn't work, Bo, for those 3 games. It might not work for all 3 of those games, but it certainly doesn't get you all 3 of those wins.
I say there's a higher likelihood that it could happen against Vanderbilt, because if we get into Vanderbilt is going to try to eat the clock. Like, that's what they do. They take it down to 2-3 seconds on every single snap. If we can have the explosivity of the offense and the kick return game, then I think we can stay with Vanderbilt. And that sounds really sad to say that, but I don't see Vanderbilt running us out of the gym.
Well, here's the
against
problem.
Georgia or A&M, if we roll that out there, uh-oh.
Right. I'm not even talking about how. I'm just saying it'll cost you the game.
But
It could be different styles of games, but they can't do that again.
And here's what you can't have. And we can pick on the defense for how they performed in the first half, and it was, for lack of a better term, it was atrocious. It wasn't good. But a lot of that had to do with the fact they played 51 snaps in the first half. 51 snaps. If you don't think Vanderbilt's going to not try to put together 8, 9, 10 play drives and eat up clock, absolutely they are. And you know what's going to happen if we turn around and go 3 and out? Your defense is going to be on the field the whole game. And Diego Pavia, say all you will about him, Diego Pavia is a fighter, and he will make your life hell if you start getting tired. Like, that's just the way that they're built.
Well, so let me ask you this, Chance, because we know what the injury was with Michael Taft. We know he had surgery on the thumb, very similar to what happened to John Mateer, with that broken bone in his thumb. Could Taft, and this is a theoretical, but could Taft play safety with a cast?
Yes.
I think no matter what, if he has to. Because you mentioned that they were attacking, and we won't get into names, but they were attacking a very specific area in the Texas attack, and it was the void left when Taft went out of the game prior. If Taft plays, he is also the thumper, and whether or not his thumb hurts doesn't mean he's not going to hit Diego like his life depends on it. I think the Texas defense can squelch to some extent the Vanderbilt rushing attack. I do think our depth and our rotations will keep them from getting tired. I think the 51 plays you talked about were just mistake after mistake after mistake because we kept leaving openings for them to attack the middle of the field that I think if Taft is there, those openings go away.
Right. And it goes, and again, Bo, you and I talked after the game. I think PK forgets more about defense football every day than I will know in my entire life. But I know this: they sat in 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 a lot, and Manny Muhammad was 12 yards off the guy, and he just stopping and getting a first down and keeping your defense. Like, if that's your guy, who did Mississippi State have that Manny Muhammad should be afraid of, that he shouldn't get up and at least be 3 yards off and say, if you go run, then I'm going to run with you, but you're not going to just sit here and run a simple stop that the quarterback takes 3 steps, balls out of his hand, first down, we have a new set of downs. Now you got to play 3 more plays. Like, those are the things that I don't know what is happening at practice. Therefore, we cannot be critical of it. But I thought Manny Muhammad is the kind of guy that should be able to play man-to-man press coverage.
Well, and the problem with that chance this week is this is the exact team you can't play man against. Because you can't have your entire secondary with their backs turned and Diego Pavia on the prowl. Because he will run for days if we're playing man.
But were you afraid that Shapen was going to run on you?
No.
So what was the fear of Brennan Thompson's speed? Was the fear Evans?
That has to be it. It has to be that.
Because Thompson did go by him on that one, right? That was Muhammad.
That touchdown, he ran right past him.
It's not like they don't know who Brennan Thompson is. He practiced against Manny Muhammad for 2 years. If they knew that he could beat him deep, maybe that was why. This week that can't happen because you can't give those kind of cushions to Pavia, and you sure as hell can't go man ISO where you're turning your back and running, because it's what you'll see tonight in the dang game with the Commanders and the Chiefs. If they turn their backs on Mariota, I guarantee you his first instinct is to run every time.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what they're coached. If you see them bail, just run. Go get, and hopefully that's what Sark and them are telling Arch, because if they try to run man concepts, which they do from time to time against that team, Arch should be looking to run at any chance he sees a window.
Whenever you're checking it out this week, we certainly hope Arch Manning is doing all right, and we'll be waiting for that Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday before the game, SEC injury reports. It is rare that you know exactly what the injury is sometimes. Sometimes you know, sometimes you don't. They don't have to put it on there, but we will know when we see Arch Manning's name what it is. He did not practice on Monday. We're recording on Monday night, and he did not practice Monday, and Sark, like he's supposed to say, the doctors will determine what it is. So we'll hope he's doing very well this week.
So we're all amongst adults here. We all know what the injury is. Does anybody have any doubt what the injury to Arch is?
Not a doubt in the world.
Not at this point. When it first happened, you know what I really thought it was when it first happened because of where the guy hit him. I thought, because I've had this before, where you get hit right on that scapula of your throwing arm, and it knocks that whole, and you go numb on that whole side.
You
And
thought he had a stinger, or
it's not a stinger because the stinger comes up here.
okay?
You know, when you hit it, but it's when you get hit right in that scapula, and it's almost like a dead leg, like you lose. And so that's what I thought it was. Like everything goes numb, kind of like I'll give you. I mean, I know it's technically a stinger, but it's almost like what happened to Colt in the national championship game, right? And then I went back and watched the replay of it, and obviously his head looked like a basketball bouncing on the turf, which I understand how pretty turf fields are. I get it. I understand the maintenance of them, but we've got to get back to more natural surfaces. We really do.
I can't argue the point. Do you think, Chance, having been involved in this as long as you have, if the injury is a concussion, is there any realistic way of thinking Arch plays on Saturday? Because I don't think he does. I don't think
the doctors will let him, especially with his high-profile name.
Yes.
I don't think there's any doctor going to sign off unless they are 100% sure that he's good.
And it's his second one, potentially, if what happened less than a year ago against Ohio State when he went off the field. We will never know whether he actually sustained a concussion because they didn't have to say anything because there wasn't another game. But he came out of that game pretty early and never returned after taking a shot.
Yeah. And even, guys, even if you wanted to play the game of, you know, you got to have this game because if you lose it, then the Georgia game doesn't mean as much. I get the theory of that, but you also have the bye week.
Yes.
If you've got this week plus the bye week, and even if you lost to Vanderbilt, that would be your second conference loss, but you'd still be in play for Atlanta. And I know nobody wants to talk about that right now, but it would be true. It's not like you're not wasting the opportunity there. There'd still be things to play for. There'd still be an SEC title to fight for, theoretically. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe saving him for Athens would be the thing. But also, Chance, you know this to be true. Every time I see a concussion type of injury, I always remind myself, every single person is just different.
Yeah.
They are different, right? There's a reason why all my friends got on the roller coasters when I was young, and I couldn't because my head is just different than theirs, and I'll vomit everywhere. They're built differently than I am. So I don't know exactly what kind of reaction Arch has to this sort of stuff, but by Thursday, we need to hear something. We need to hear the idea of maybe probable on an injury report by Thursday night, right?
You would have to think so. But look, this is, and I hate saying it, but Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt they're having a great season. They are. And they're tough. I think Caldwell is, if need be, I think Caldwell is more than capable of doing what he needs to do in this offense. And you're just going to have to rely on your defense. I would rather not rush Arch back. I just don't think it's a good thing. If he's ready, good. Yeah. Because look, there's different grades of concussions. You know, like there's the completely knocked out and your body starts seizing up that sometimes can take 2-3 weeks. But then there's other where you get banged and, you know, your pupils get a little dilated and the training staff goes, okay, you got a concussion, but it might be a mild one. And he might be fine by Thursday. And if that's, hey, let's rock and roll. I'm rolling with Arch. But I'm saying I don't believe that it's a game that you rush him back or in any way, shape, form, or fashion try to get him on the field if he's not ready. It's not worth it to me.
Well, and by that same logic, Chance, and this is where I don't think he's going to play. Because what's his biggest hurdle right now, in my opinion, and I think yours as well, which is the mental side. If he did have even a mild concussion, he can't focus on tape and sit there and stare at a screen. Like, that's not the thing you do to fix a concussion. So that means he's not getting practice reps. He's not working on timing. I think even if Arch is cleared, I don't think he should play unless Sark is 100% on board that he can get 100% out of Arch. And that includes running. That includes navigating play calls. That includes the film work before. If not, you have to. Caldwell showed stones. He's come in twice, and both times delivered.
Yeah.
And you know how that feels to walk onto a field dry and have to throw almost that exact same route. It's not exactly the same, but that throw into the corner.
And he checked to it. Like that.
No, that was his at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
He was telling Mosley, I'm going there, go run under the bucket. So for him to have and he's 23 years old, like the moment wasn't necessarily too big for him, but to be able to stand there and check at the line of scrimmage to that play call, first throw out of the gate, and to throw it in a very good spot, because it was at the spot where only his guy was getting it, and if not, it was another down. Like a lot of times, chance the guy underthrows that, trying to make sure his guy gets hands on it, and it's bad. I like what Caldwell did. Do I think he'll be able to do that for 60 minutes and not make mistakes and not? No, he'll, as typical first time starting would be, but he's going to be at home. He's going to have the crowd behind him. And if the defense plays to the level of noise I think that crowd makes, even if the Beach Boys are playing Longhorn City Limits.
Don't be knocking the Beach Boys, Bo.
I'm just saying that's not the 11 a.m. vibe you're trying to send the fans into the stadium.
Dude, have y'all ever heard the Beach Boys cover of Thunderstruck? It's awesome. Like, it shreds.
I guarantee you it will be better than whatever the Thunderstruck they play before the light show, but we don't have to worry about that because it's an 11 o'clock kick. There will be no drone show.
There you go. No drone show at this one. All right, I got a question for y'all about Caldwell and what this game could look like. Before we do that, let's show them some new doodle hats. Can you see? There they are. Look at these, gentlemen. This is very cool. They've got a new doodle hat for you. And look at this right here, right over here. Look at this, the Doodle Cowboy. I'm going into the Doodle Cowboy to show you all varieties. That's right. The Doodle Cowboy is ready to go. First time I saw it, like clearly there's like a tech vibe going on here.
It is.
Yeah, I kind of like it though.
Who do you think the newest in the rotation is?
Yeah, exactly. Look at this. We got like a Lubbock inspired hat here. Also for you Longhorn fans, the limited edition Texas Longhorn Puff hats while supplies last, plus these other doodles that we've shown you. We'll click into the Mad series here, show you this one. Some cool Bevo, little snorting Bevo hats as well. Last Stand hats, the True Fans brand. Check them out. All the great stuff. If you are a Longhorn fan and if you are an Outsiders fan and you need your Outsiders hats, use the code Outsiders10. Get your Outsiders hat, 12 different color designs. The legitimately worth a shit hat is there for you at Last Stand Hats if you want to scan on that QR code. All right, gentlemen. So kind of a two-parter, but based on everything you saw up until the moment Arch gets hurt, and then what very limited what you saw from Caldwell. But to y'all's point, he comes in. Nice run, by the way. Whatever that did to the run game, that was a nice run that he handed off with. And then obviously the pass to Mosley. Do you think they found an offense that Caldwell can run to beat Vanderbilt? Because the one thing I'm the most shocked about, guys, coming out of Starkville is that they couldn't run on that team. That team was 97th against the run going in, and Texas made them 81st. It was awful. I still can't believe they couldn't find the runs. 1.6 a carry against that team. So you tell me, are they going to have to tweak this up on offense? And is Caldwell able to go beat Vanderbilt with whatever they found in that second half?
I think the short answer is yes. I do believe with our defense, I think Caldwell, I think he's a serviceable quarterback. I think there's a reason. And look, we all questioned when he came in the portal. We went, that's an interesting move. You've got Arch Manning. He's anointed one. He's here. Why is he coming in? Well, this is why he came in. I mean, you don't bring the kid in unless, you trust him to be able to navigate the ways in case something goes wrong. So Sark's got his guy that he wants in there. Otherwise, it'd be Trey Owens, and they would have said, or whoever else. But look, I trust that, number one, the game's going to be slower to Caldwell than it's been to Arch. He's got a lot of games under his belt. He's seen more. He's seen different defenses. He's, so he's not new. It's not like Chance Mock coming off the bench because Chris Sims got hurt, and hasn't played any games. So I think I've got full confidence that if Caldwell has to play, I think he'll be fine. I think the biggest question and the biggest fear that Sark has, and this is a real fear, and I'm not saying anything for people on the internet, but the real fear is he comes in and Caldwell navigates that offense and looks really good. That's the fear.
That's where I was about to go with that, Chance, because what could happen in a one-game scenario, because with the bye week, this is not bringing Georgia into the equation. For Vanderbilt specific, Sark knows what he has in Caldwell. And I think Sark was trying to square peg, round hole some of the play designs and play calls to fit what was going on with Arch and some of the throwing missteps and some of the mental. I do think that with a 23-plus-year-old quarterback with 7 years of experience, I think Sark can open up some of the plays that he's been keeping on the shelf. I think you're going to see Sark throw the kitchen sink from a creativity standpoint, because I think he has the guy running the show that needs some of those little gadgets to get guys open. He's not going to throw guys open with his arm strength. He's not going to he has a serviceable arm. He does not have a huge arm. He's not Arch as a runner. I'm not saying he can't run, but he's not that athletically gifted. So I think Sark will try to scheme more guys open. And the difference is I think the guys will catch the drag. Like the drags and the slants will be more on timing, because those are the type of throws that seem to fit Caldwell's eye.
All right, we will see. Certainly when they had to, they made some throws in the second half. Caldwell made a big one at the end. We'll see if he's the guy on Saturday morning. Kegs and Eggs, 11 a.m. kick with Texas and Vanderbilt. We'll tell you where the watch party is going to be in case you don't know. But let's get into some envelopes and Mach Fives. We'll start with the envelopes, brought to you by Battalion Fire Protection. Every week, we put 2 predictions in a sealed envelope. Cowbell week. Yeah, that's good. I like that. We put in the envelope to see. Going into this, I had a nice week. I got 2 points last week. I got 3 points, and everybody else has 1. Who's going first this week? Anybody feel good? Bo's going
I had
first.
more than 1 pick, but I'm feeling pretty good. I don't remember exactly what's in here. I know one of them's off because it was CJ Baxter driven, but I like the other ones. So let's see where I'm at.
All right, go after it. Let's hear what you got.
There was a theme to my picks.
All right, let's hear what you got.
So my score that I predicted on the show last week was Texas 27-16. That was not correct.
That was not.
No.
My other prediction was Wingo Day, is what it says.
Yes.
100+ and a touchdown.
There you go.
First quarter. Now,
well done. Well
DJ
done,
Baxter, 2 touchdowns, not so much.
Ooh, no, not that.
Although he did have one opportunity where he did crash about a quarter yard short of the end line, and I was like, yeah. My prize picks would have liked if he would have scored. My other one was Ole Miss eliminates OU from any conversation. That happened. OU out because Ole Miss kicked the crap out of them.
OU eliminated. Wait, that's just their second loss, though.
Mark my words. That loss sent OU into the death spiral. They're not coming back. I was saying Ole Miss was going to beat OU handily, and they did.
Chance, you going to allow that one? That was an 8-point victory by the end.
When they were a 6-point underdog.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Okay. All right. 2 points for Bo. That gets Bo up to 3.
The last one didn't count, but it was an NFL one. Philly wins by 10+ and reestablishes dominance.
Well, that's good. Well, now you're just why are you saying that one? Is that an added one?
It was on there.
I wish. You know what I wish? I wish I
could get a win. I hadn't gotten a win yet, so I put a bunch of shit down.
Hey, this is Bo's strategy. I'm going to throw as much shit on a paper as possible. If I get 1 or 2 right, I'm staying in the game.
I guess so. Bo just took the damn lead. All right, Chance, you want to go next? Or you
Hold
want
on,
me to go?
but Chad, in my defense, I did text you on Thursday that Ryan Wingo was paramount to my envelope game strategy.
You did. Yeah, you did. You did. All right, Chance, I'll go next here. I have a bad feeling that I should have stopped, and I didn't stop. It's my worst thing in the envelope game. I think I'm so clever, and I just need to stop. Let's see. Texas. Oh, God. Texas wears out the Mississippi State run defense. 25 carries for Baxter and Wisner for 150 plus. That didn't happen.
Well,
And
they did make them work a lot by running into the middle of the pile, so they did kind of wear them down.
That's not good. I also missed the other one. It's silly. OU is favored over Ole Miss. Rebels win by 10 plus. See, got to stop. You just got to stop before you get to the end.
Point.
You should have just
right.
Yeah.
Just stop. Stop thinking at that point. Why are you thinking so much? All right, I get nothing. Chance, what do you got?
I'll give you half a point.
Yeah, I give you half a point.
We get a half? Was it like is it like the Ryder Cup? Okay, I get a half.
I'll give you a half.
Half the match? Okay.
I'll give you half.
All right. I'll take a 0.5. What do you got, Chance?
All right. Hold on. Let's see here. I think I'm going to get some half rights and not really. Because, like you, Chad, my second one here is that Lane Kiffin and crew will boot stomp OU in Norman.
Yeah, boot stomp I can't give you.
Yeah.
If you watch the game, though, it was never close.
Okay, but that's different.
But it wasn't a boot stomping that I was hoping for.
No,
yeah, right. Like
what I was hoping for either.
Whether or not we thought I never thought Oklahoma was going to win the game, but that's different than boot stomp.
But let's be real with each other. Oklahoma was a 6-point home favorite that lost by more than a touchdown. Like that's a boot stomping.
No, you're getting that's too nerdy. You can't do that. That's not how the math works.
Fair enough. I just want to see Oklahoma lose.
No,
I won't let you have boots.
Although, by the way, like nothing makes my day more than Lane Kiffin at any point in time. There's not a day that I don't enjoy something Lane Kiffin does.
Dude,
and
Lane
getting ready to go into the post-game interview and turn around and be like, you're real quiet now, aren't you? Or you're a lot quieter now than you were.
Him getting after David Stone is one of the funniest things I've ever seen post-game.
You gotta love Lane Kiffin.
That was amazing. Bo, you caught that, right?
Oh, that was phenomenal. But I have a question for you because you usually know these things. Is David Stone a senior?
Is he a senior? He's the guy that had to take the pay cut. It was that story about took the pay cut in NIL or whatever. I don't know if he's a senior. I'd have to look it up.
I'm just saying, like, if there ever was a way for David Stone to end up on Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin making him run gassers before putting him in the lineup as penance, that would be funny.
That would be nice. That'd be nice. All right, Chance, what was your other one?
All right. You're going to love this one, Chad.
Okay.
The Fighting Texas A&M Aggies will win comfortably in Death Valley to essentially lock in their first playoff berth.
That's a point.
We'll give you comfortably. Are you kidding me?
Oh, that game was Mr. Comfortable.
Ooh, hanging a 49 in Death Valley. I didn't see that. I had enough guts to pick them to win. I didn't pick them to win like that, but I'm so glad they did.
Just think, and I hinted at it earlier, and I think Bo will probably disagree with me, but that's okay. I really do believe with their ability to run the ball, with the speed they have at outside at receivers, I think Reed's really come a long way behind that offensive line that is just massive. Pair that up with a defense in that front seven that is nasty. I think they're the best team in college football right now. I really do.
They actually got a vote in the AP and 2 in the coaches poll this week for a number 1 spot.
They'd have gotten my vote.
There's only one team that I would definitively pick to beat them in a neutral site game right now.
Georgia Tech. I'm just kidding.
Yes, because Haynes King would love to do
right?
work.
There you go.
No, I mean, it's until proven otherwise, Ohio State stays at 1 for me.
I get that.
Like, they haven't done anything to give up. They were the defending champs. They haven't lost to anybody. And A&M does look better than Ohio State in some instances, but Ohio State hadn't played anybody for a little while. So let's see how that when the all 12 games are done, A&M may very well be the number 1 team in the country.
And I'm not saying
that I would right now. I'd have them ahead of Indiana for sure.
Well, I'm not saying that I would replace them as number 1 in the poll. I'm just saying my eyeballs.
Yeah.
I'm looking at. I think A&M's the best team in the country.
Well,
and I think Casey Concepcion was a freaking massive get up. I think that dude is a stud.
What would y'all do neutral field, Indiana and A&M?
A&M.
by 10.
By 10, really?
Yeah.
I still do not believe in Indiana that much. Like, I just don't. Now,
Well, I know two teams that would disagree right now.
I agree, and they keep doing it, but the only other team that I would pick over A&M on a neutral field right now would be Alabama.
Bam. Wow, Bama. Interesting. Okay.
On neutral field, I'm not going to hold that loss to Florida State in the first game of the year against Alabama. Alabama has gone through some real competition. No, I'm not trying to knock on A&M. I know I do that from time to time, but A&M hasn't played a heavy hitter yet. That LSU team is shit now. They fired their coach for a reason. The team has given up. Hell, he benched Nussmeier, the supposed first-round pick, in the middle of the third quarter.
I think he was saving him.
Huh?
I think he was protecting him. He was getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, they could not hold up the line, and Nussmeier was just done. But what beating LSU, that I think will lose more games as this plays out. I need A&M to beat one of, let's just call them the big three of the SEC right now. Texas, not right now, but over the last 3 years, Georgia and Alabama. Once they face one of them, home, away, I don't care, and win, then I would make A&M my number one team. Until they have beating Auburn, who had to bench Jackson Arnold, doesn't wow me. Beating Mississippi State, where they were only up by 6 at the half, if it was even that. Like, they haven't done, like, they only won by 3 over Arkansas. And that's not a good Arkansas team. Now, I realize it wasn't at College Station, but they gave up 42 to Green in that Arkansas outfit. That is not very good. So I don't know if it's just the nature of them being undefeated. Have they really, like, Notre Dame was a good win, but was it really that great? Like, and I'm not trying to dismiss it. Like, I just don't think they're there yet. I think they're in the top 3.
All right. That is the envelope game brought to you by Battalion Fire Protection. Gentlemen, you want to tell them about Battalion Fire Protection Services?
I'll give them the number chance, but you're the one doing a lot of business with them, so you can tell them all about what Battalion does. It's 512-755-6569.
Well, yeah, Battalion Fire Protection, those guys, they've got over 80 years of experience between the guys that are running it. And what they do is they protect people and property, right? Like, fires happen. It's a very, very tragic thing. But, like the company I work for, when you have the right people in place and they do put the right procedures in place, you can protect the people and property that you love and that are valuable in your life. And that's what Battalion does, whether it's residential or they're branching out now, which is why I'm working with them, into doing a lot of fire sprinkler protection in apartment buildings and warehouses and things of that nature. So there's a QR code. I think Bo already gave you the number, but if you're looking at having any fire protection put into your home, which is new, the residential side of it is a new deal, or if you're a developer, if you're working in the building community, give those guys a call for inspections, for new installs, new construction, contract work, or service. Call them Battalion Fire Protection.
There you go, 755-6569. Shout out to Battalion for being one of our great partners. Also, we've got to thank the good folks at Integro Construction Services. Let's get going. It's a Mach 5. Top 5 if you need a guy to get it done. It's a Mach 5. Top 5 Bills references left and right on the Mach 5. Not really. He's not allowed to talk about the Bills tonight because it's about college football. Whoa, look at this. What happened there?
Well, I got an old hat back. It needs to be reshaped, but I'm going all hat, no cattle right now.
Look at you. Bo's got all hat going on. Okay. I will also throw up that Integro logo for you and their number as we are rolling through this. And we'll tell you about Integro a little bit after we get through with the Mach 5 Top 5. So, Chance, with all these moves going on in college football, you mentioned A&M's victory in Death Valley didn't just get them a win. It got Brian Kelly a conversation with his AD, and shock of all shocks, it escalated. And now he doesn't have a job because he's Brian Kelly, and I guess things got a little heated. So yet another big name kind of job is going to need to be filled. So this week's Mach 5 Top 5 is the top college football coaching jobs except for Texas. We're going to assume Texas is at or near the top of the mountain. You could certainly argue it is the most high-profile job when you put a lot of metrics together. So we're going to set the Longhorns to the side. Top 5 college football coaching jobs other than Texas. What do you got, Chance?
All right, so here's what I did. I in my mind, and I weighed a couple deals: the financial strength, proximity to heavy hitting recruiting bases that are naturally built in, alumni, financial history, all of these things. And I will tell you, when we get done with our list, I kind of want to go because I made my list and it did not quite come up the same as Grok. When I put it into AI and asked them to put the same parameters. So it'll be an interesting discussion after this. But my top 5.
Okay.
Number 5, one that just came available.
Yes.
Massive fan base, great proximity to a lot of recruiting bases, especially with all the state of Louisiana, Southeast Texas. That is the LSU Tigers. Big, beautiful stadium.
Okay.
They got a state that supports them. May not have all the money in the world, but they are still – they're valued at $1.23 billion. So
Gotcha. Okay.
big brand.
Interesting. I thought maybe the side piece would be a little higher than that. A little surprise, Chance.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
It's because it's hot.
Let's see what. Oh, because it's just steamy in Baton Rouge.
Steamy on there.
Okay. All right. All right. Who beats the side piece? Let's find out.
Not gonna like it, but it is the people in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. That one is lower than I think it should be in my mind because I feel like it's one of those jobs where, and we saw, look, DeBoer this year, after week 1, looked like he was ready to resign already. Like, it's one of those, you've had Bear Bryant and you've had Nick Saban. Like, there's a lot of expectation there that could make that job hell, but it's one that any good coach would step into and love to be a part of.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 3. Oddly, did not even make the top 10 list by Grok. Spoiler alert. Because they have money growing out of their ears. They've got a great facility. Their campus is growing. They've got pretty girls. And it is the job in College Station. I think A&M is a great job.
Okay.
You're situated in between Central Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Southeast Texas. Great proximity to a lot of those big recruiting bases, naturally built in.
Okay, A&M at number 3. Again, this is the top 5 college jobs other than Texas. Number 2.
Other than Texas. Number 2, it has to be there just for the same reason that Alabama's there and the reason that A&M's there. Massive stadium, massive. They're right in the middle of their recruiting base. Huge, huge fan base, a lot of money, and that is the Ohio State University.
Ohio State. Okay, fair enough. All right.
And I bet everybody watching this show right now could all say it in unison as the number 1 coaching job, and it resides in Athens, Georgia.
Oh, I was going to go with Texas Tech. Dadgummit. I thought you were going somewhere else. You're going Georgia at number 1. Okay.
I'm going Georgia number 1. With it being right in the middle of Atlanta, the ability to recruit the entire South from that region, they reach into Florida. They can go over on the East Coast to the Carolinas, and they can pull some of those kids. And Georgia itself is great in football. So, yeah, it's a good one.
All right. Chance has 4 out of 5 SEC teams in his top 5 in Ohio State. Bo, he's got Kirby as having the best college football job that's not named Texas. What are you going to do with this list?
Well, I'm not going to mess with Chance's order because I think we're just picking hair. You know, we're splitting hairs on who's 2 and who's 3 and who's the one that I'm going to take out. And Chance is going to be blown away by this. I'm taking Alabama out at 4.
Whoa!
And here's why. You kind of mentioned it. There's nothing you can do there and ever be considered successful. If you went to Alabama and won 2 natties, you'd still be looked at as someone that didn't hold up to Shula and Bear Bryant. It's an unclimbable mountain.
Did he say
and
Shula?
You left,
he did say Shula.
Did you say Shula?
No, okay. Saban.
I think anybody could stand up to Shula.
Well, Mike, I was thinking about Mike Shula coaching there before. Okay. My point is the Alabama job.
I feel like I had
doesn't matter what you even no matter how you succeeded, you will never be seen as a successful person at Alabama. Like,
and that's why I had it lower.
The mountain is too high to even finish in the top 2. Mm-hmm. So I think Chance neglected an entire coast. And I think there's a job that has proven with the right coach and the star power of Los Angeles, USC is a top 5 job. So I'm putting USC in because you can win at USC when you do it well. It's really tough when you don't.
Okay.
But
I'm just going to ask this in terms of like modern day stuff. Should Oregon be considered in a top 5 discussion here, or is it more of a back end of the top 10 discussion?
I had USC in Oregon. It was going to be one of the two, and I went for the star power of Hollywood over the money from Phil Knight in Oregon.
Well,
you have to have a West Coast team, a recruiting bonanza.
Hold on before you go too far, because like I said, I want to discuss what Grok spit out to me afterwards, because I think there's a discussion we can have there that's kind of interesting. So, Chad, is the arbiter of truth.
Yes.
What changes are you making?
I mean, it's a really solid list. Oregon popped into my head. USC is fair to bring up. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for some reason, when I started thinking about it, when I started thinking about the jobs that are open as we're talking, LSU jumps right to the top for me, and maybe that doesn't happen for other people, but like that's the first one that pops in my head of the ones that are open as we're speaking.
100%.
But then this is a question about, so I might have had LSU ticked up a little bit, but I don't know. Either way, the Bama or the USC, I actually kind of like this list for the argument chance that you're making about A&M in terms of, because we know what the revenue argument is there. Because of that, I could see that being a little bit ahead of LSU.
But here's the other thing, Chad. This is the other thing, and it's the opposite of what Bo just said about Alabama. Love them or hate them, the Aggies can be crazy all they want. They've had mild success. It's a job with all that money in that stadium, the ability to get recruits. If you win, they've got a high tolerance level, a much higher tolerance level for failure than any of the other teams on this list. Much higher. Yeah. But if you go in and you win in there, you're a king. That fan base.
If Mike Elko won a national title at Texas A&M, they would rename Brian Elko. I don't think they can change College Station, but Bryan, Texas will become Mike Elko.
Yeah, and in terms of the facilities, they have
people would argue that, Bo.
Yeah, they have more than just kept up with facilities.
You think College Station? Like they're changing one of the two. It's not Bryan College Station. It's not BCS.
It's in the heart of Elko, Texas. It's Texas A&M University.
Maybe they'll make Elko. They're naming a town within a 30-mile proximity after Mike Elko.
You know what? Let me just do this. Let me just be an SEC centrist and ask, even though Bo replaced with USC, is there any program that should go in and take the place of a USC or an Ohio State on this list? Could I actually make the argument that, I don't know, Oregon needs to go in over one of them? Or I don't know that there's another SEC program I could do it with unless I
out Florida too. Like I think Florida's a better job than LSU, which is why Lane Kiffin might end up taking it.
Yeah, I was just thinking about Florida as just a big time state, the state
Florida
school
was
that it
one,
is.
Michigan was another one.
Florida, Michigan. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think Michigan has, for me, I'd much rather, if I was a coach, I'd much rather coach at Florida, LSU, or Oregon over Michigan.
100%. That's why they're not on my list. I'm just, he's saying in a world where.
All right, here's what we're doing. Because you know how I feel about boring helmets, we're going to take Ohio State out. This is going to get real childish real fast. We're going to tick the Aggies up to 2, and we're going to put Florida in at 3. So now we got 4 out of the 5, and the Buckeyes are out. How about that? That's what we're doing.
You're the arbiter of truth.
There it is. There you go.
So let me add one to the list that's not available right now, that didn't make any of our lists and wasn't even part of the conversation, and it may be a different era.
Okay.
But I know there's a lot of coaches floating around where Notre Dame would definitely be in their top 5.
No, I thought of Notre Dame earlier today. Yeah, there's Notre Dame at 6 from the AI. Okay, yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, I think if you're looking all around the country, Notre Dame, Michigan, yeah, obviously Ohio State. There's a lot of them that need to be considered. And I do think in this modern era, I would assume Oregon. Where did the AI have Oregon? Did the AI kick Oregon at you, Chance, or not?
So it was very, very odd. First of all, so what I put in there was I said, I told Grok, I said, you are going to act as a sports agent and an analyst, and you're going to come up with the best coaching jobs in college football based on proximity to recruits, financial size, et cetera, right?
Mm-hmm.
And AI came back with me, and Grok says, as the greatest sports agent in the game, think Scott Boras meets Jerry Maguire, but with the Rolodex full of five-star recruits and boosters who make deals happen over stakes at Perino's. I'm thrilled to break it down. They had number 10 being the Florida Gators.
Okay.
Number 9 being the USC Trojans.
Yeah.
Number 8 being the Baton Rouge Tigers.
Wow, LSU at 8. Okay.
Here's one that'll shock you. Oklahoma at number 7.
Interesting. All right.
Notre Dame at 6. You know what it says? SEC transplant with a $1.4 billion valuation. It's got a border pipeline, top 5-star speed, blah, 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 blah. But that's what it said. So my top 5, according to AI, Michigan, Alabama's 4, Ohio State's 3, Georgia's 2, and Texas is 1.
Texas is 1. Gotcha.
So
okay.
That was what what was odd to me, and you mentioned Oregon, Chad, and maybe it's a new thing because, really before Achilles Smith, nobody even looked at Oregon, and, so it's a recency bias maybe, but, I mean, to me, Oregon would absolutely be a top 10 job. It's not even a question.
Hell of a job. Yeah, I think so. I think it's top 10, certainly top 15, but I would even put it in a top 10 discussion.
Flip that question the other way. Do you think Dan Lanning, if there's a job that Dan Lanning would leave to go take right now, over the Oregon job that he currently has?
He had the opportunity to go to Alabama, I guarantee you.
No.
I agree.
I mean, off the top of my head, no. If Bama or Texas came open.
But Bama was open.
Bama was open, and they took DeBoer.
Yeah,
obviously, DeBoer had higher pedigree than Lanning at that exact moment. Man,
if I was Dan Lanning, I wouldn't move an inch.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I do think.
But that's also because he is who he is. I think he fits that job really well. Like, you can't be like a straight-laced regular old football coach and go out to Eugene. I think he fits.
You got to be willing to jump in a pool with some kid for a commitment video that he later pulls back on.
Exactly. You got to get a little weird. You got to be willing to take the shirt off with McAfee and just be that dude.
Kind of like Brian Kelly. We've all seen the videos of Brian Kelly with the recruits trying to dance with him.
Yeah, it's so bad.
It was so bad.
Me trying to dance. It's just
I believe it a little bit more with Lanning than I do with Brian Kelly. Just a little bit more.
Win, and I'm saying win because Ole Miss will end up making the playoffs, and Lane still will leave unless he wins a Natty this year.
Come on.
Which job do you think Lane wants more, Florida or LSU? That's a real question.
I think he'd rather go to LSU personally.
I agree.
I think the fit would make more sense at LSU. I think he maybe should.
100%.
I think he maybe should pick Florida. But I think the fit at LSU, there's something about that edge to him that I think really fits in Baton Rouge. And then you start getting that, start getting the recruits to show up. Obviously the recruits show up, but keep the recruiting pipeline the way it is and you energize it with his stuff. I think LSU has most stuff to maximize.
Okay, let me throw this one at you then. Is there a world, because since 2020, A&M is now 4-1 against LSU, with the only loss being an overtime one in Baton Rouge. In a weird world, could it be funny that the greatest, what I think possibly one of the greatest games in Aggie football history, an iconic win, a stamp for Elko, getting Brian Kelly fired could lead to a changing of the tides between those two schools because they go get Lane Kiffin. That's going to be a different LSU team that A&M is going to be playing.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. We'll see.
So let me ask you one more hypothetical because he was floating all over Twitter this week.
Mm-hmm.
A former LSU coach who obviously is not going back to the head coaching ranks, most likely. Could you see a scenario where, based on relationship and two guys that may or may not like each other at least a little bit, that Lane Kiffin could get Ed Orgeron to come to LSU as a defensive assistant?
Oh, he absolutely could.
Like, make Ed Orgeron the highest paid defensive line coach in college football and recruit LSU, which was never his problem, was recruiting to LSU. So now you got the flash of Lane with the old school mentality of Orgeron. That could be dangerous.
Yeah, the two guys I keep thinking of, fellas, of in the SEC, can these two schools keep their guys? Are Lane, who you've already mentioned, and Clark Lee. Like at the end of this year, will Ole Miss and Vandy be able to keep those guys, or are they going to end up somewhere? Both end up somewhere else.
I think they both end up somewhere else.
Oh, I think Clark Lee has to be gone because Poppy is going. Like, he knows he's hitched his wagon to a
right.
But
what if they get this? What if they get the guy that Nate Bargatze was talking about last Saturday, where the big quarterback recruit flips from Georgia to Vandy? What
they
then?
got Chad Powers himself, it wouldn't matter. Like, there is no quarterback. Like, Vanderbilt is a great story and it's cute, but does anybody really think Vanderbilt's going to be able to sustain it? No.
Depends on what you mean by sustain it. We don't know we don't know what it is yet.
Okay, let's say Vanderbilt somehow finds a way to make it to the playoffs.
Sustaining that'll be hard. Yeah, that'll be tough to sustain.
Like, so if you're Clark Lee and you have the opportunity, let's just say Lane takes LSU in this hypothetical dance that we're talking about. If you're Clark Lee, are you not at least considering Penn State? That's more where he's from and what he does.
You have to. Wouldn't you consider he should consider everything, right? Would he consider Florida?
Look at what's going to be open. North Carolina, when they bail on Belichick, big state school, lots of money. Penn State has money. Florida. I don't think Florida hires Clark Lee because I think Florida needs more splash than Clark Lee.
Florida's an interesting fit. They do need a little bit of that needs some spice to it.
But I mean,
they're just going to recycle Spurrier.
Well, that could work. Now. I think Gruden's a better fit at Florida than Spurrier, though, at the moment.
Oh, please don't tell me John Gruden's going to get talk as an SEC coach. Is this going to happen again?
He's going to get talked about. He has the same agent Sark has. You don't think they're going to throw his name in the hat?
Do you know what place? I've said this place before, too. You know what place ought to think about Gruden? Arkansas.
Oh,
Arkansas.
I can see that.
That kind of thing, right? Arkansas needs a little bit of that. Hey, did you see what they need a little bit of that? Gruden would be that kind of hire.
Of the stories I've told y'all about Gruden, he'd really love Arkansas for sure.
No, I can see that fit. I don't see Clark Lee as a fit at Florida. If Lane goes to LSU, the Florida job is the one that'd be hanging out there because I think Clark Lee takes. Huh?
Where's Franklin go?
I have thought about him at
North Carolina.
That one would definitely work. I wonder if Florida would care about a guy like James Franklin. I don't love that fit, but I think he would consider it. I don't know if Florida would.
Florida wants more flash. They want the style that goes with it, and that is the opposite of Franklin.
What about UCLA for Franklin?
Yeah, that could be a fit.
Could he go left coast? I think he could make that work.
I think North Carolina could be a fit. Yeah. I mean,
what if
realistically, I don't think Franklin's is hireable, especially with he doesn't have to take a job. He's going to get paid a shit ton of money to sit. He can go do TV work and be just fine. So it's going to I don't think he's just taking a job to take a job.
Yeah, that's.
And by the way, speaking of a lot of money, how'd you like to be responsible for the buyouts of Jimbo Fisher and Brian Kelly?
The same AD.
Mercy.
How do you get this is what blows my how do people keep getting jobs that make such poor decisions?
How do you waste $125 million plus on buyouts and you still keep falling forward into better AD jobs?
I want you to imagine what was going on in Scott Woodward's brain when Brian Kelly pushed him. Woodward was he may have even said it to Brian Kelly. Dude, you think I'm afraid to pay buyouts? Do you know what I got those Aggie donors to agree to? You got to get out of my office. Get out of here. 53? I can do 53 million on my standing on my head. Let me know if you need me to help you pack. Get out of here. Like, I bet that was the simplest thing Woodward's ever said.
Oh,
it's crazy though. 50, his is 53, right? And what was Jimbo's 76 when it first hit? Something like that. It's crazy.
The difference is Brian Kelly has so many skeletons in his closet, he'll settle for 30 cents on the dollar so they don't burn his ass.
Well, and Franklin's is low at what, 40 something, right?
Yeah.
Isn't he in the 40s?
I think like 42.
Good.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like,
good for them.
Like, think about it this way. Is Brian Kelly hireable at a major university at this point?
No.
It depends on the major university.
Arkansas.
A legitimate top 20 type program. I don't think he is.
Oh my God. What kind of accent would he pull off if he got the Arkansas job? When they announced him, what would it would be?
Dude. He'd walk in with one of those pig heads on and start calling the
Do you think they could sell Brian Kelly at Penn State?
Oh, no.
No, because they got too much baggage and he has too much baggage. Like
that's why the Penn State one is the one that is like out there to me, because I don't know why anybody would want that job.
You are going to have to be Lily White to take the Penn State job.
Now, because remind me, Kelly is a Midwest guy, right?
Yeah. New Hampshire. He started at New Hampshire.
That might actually make a lot of sense.
He's East Coast. He's kind of angry at the world. Kind of fits Pennsylvania. Like,
plus,
they're not gonna be able to get anybody else.
Plus, when it comes to the small handful of things that might make Brian Kelly undesirable to some, Penn State. Come on.
Come on up. We're
come
good.
on up. We'll discuss. Fine. Trust me.
Only one person sued our university and only one person died? Oh, we're good.
What'd you just say? PR nightmare? Come on up. We'll talk PR nightmares. We can do a PR nightmare on one leg. We're good. All right, Bo, why don't you tell them about Integro Construction Services and what they could do for them?
The number's right there on the screen, 987-1273. They are the licensed distributor of the Go Nano technology. As winter storms hit, you're going to want your roof protected. The Go Nano means you don't have to replace your roof. You reinvigorate your roof. 5, 10, maybe even 15 years of life that'll put back in it. Wind resistant up to 150 miles an hour, sun resistant, rain resistant, hail resistant. It is the Go Nano technology, and the licensed distributor in Central Texas is Integro Construction Services.
There you have it. Check that number one more time, 987-1273. Thanks to Integro for sponsoring the Mach 5 Top 5 each and every week. Gentlemen, before we get out of here, I do have a quick Dick Move of the Week to mention, but Bo, I'm told you may have one as well.
Yes.
Yes.
To ESPN College Game Day. The best part of that show, other than Pat McAfee, is the kicking segment. It is fun.
Mm-hmm.
But part of what makes it fun is they don't bring pseudo-professional kickers up. Like, if you watch this week, the guy would have been good from 50 plus. Like, it was not, there was no, like, he was talking noise. He was dancing. They asked him, he goes, "Oh, yeah, I kicked in high school." And they goes, "Have you ever made a 33-yarder?" He goes, "Every day in practice." Like, and when you watched him kick,
he was ready.
No hesitation. He stepped off his 5 back, 3 left. He had it, and he nuked it. The whole point of that exercise is so sometimes the guy kicking it just sucks. Or when the guy makes it, he like scrapes over the bar with a toe punch. I don't need to see all-district high school kickers come in and win $500,000. I mean, good for him, but no, Dick Move. Put the funny people on there that like kick it off the fans.
See, I'm on the other side of that one, Chance. I really kind of enjoyed it. And I mean, look, they're working the system, yeah, but it's not, I mean, they understand what's going on. And if McAfee finds a joke, he finds a joke. But if somebody gets out there that knows what they're doing, well, you know, I'd say let them kick.
I'm just saying, like, the whole premise of that bit, and we all know it's a bit.
We saw the guy do it at Texas, Bo, when we were there. Remember, he had his boots on.
Right, but But isn't it cool? I mean, both of them are cool, right? The horrible version is funny, but isn't it cool when somebody cranks one every once in a while?
But I guess there should be a layer. Like if the guy is that good that you know he can make it from 50, that's not who that contest is for. Like, I'm sorry, they shouldn't be going to get guys that could have kicked D2 or D3 and give them 500 grand. I'd rather see pull somebody in the audience and maybe they get lucky once in a while. That's the joy of the bit. Like, it's not, hey, next week we're going to get this guy who's on the roster for the Tennessee Titans as a backup kickoff specialist, and we'll just see if the pressure gets to him. No, like.
It definitely has felt more professional lately in certain regards.
When Chance and I, when Reese Davis was kind enough to let us go backstage at game day, the dude warming up had square-toed cowboy boots. He was not kicking it through if you gave him 100 footballs.
Yeah, they are trying to make it.
People swapping out tickets and like, oh, I recruited this guy from my dorm who happens to be MVP of the soccer team. Like, no.
Okay, fair enough. All right, gentlemen, just a quick dick move comment. Y'all know what I'm into. You know what I like. You see all this stuff behind me. There's no way one person is responsible for this dick move. It's a lot of people. To all of you. They're responsible for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers on Sunday night. The levels of stupid that is cannot be fully described. Of all the games, of all the NFL games to be played, of all the throwbacks and all the alternate uniforms, you messed up Steelers, Packers. I don't even know how to fully make fun of you for how moronic that was. Hey, look, Aaron Rodgers is wearing a yellow helmet after. Stop. You know, in 1933, stop. You know, they were called the pit stop. There are other home games to do that in. Why are you messing around on? By the way, they schedule Sunday night games at the beginning of the season. This thing didn't get flexed out yet. You knew it was a Sunday night game. You knew it was Aaron Rodgers against his former team. And you couldn't figure out that the Steelers are supposed to look like that and the Packers are supposed to look like that. And y'all all know what I mean by that and that. The Steelers are supposed to look like Bradshaw and Swan and James Harrison, and the Packers are supposed to look like Favre and old school A-Rod. And what are we doing? Don't be dumb on purpose, and don't rethink it if you don't have to rethink it. Steelers, Packers. Jason Sukamel of Orange Blood took his daughter to the game. And as soon as I saw Aaron Rodgers come out of that tunnel, I wanted to throw up. I did a little bit in my mouth. And I wanted to call Jason and tell him to come home and say it's not worth it.
Chad.
Because that's pathetic.
It was so bad.
Dick move.
Dick bad. Move. And you know what's even worse about it is that it doesn't even make sense. Let's say they were going to do the throwbacks. And we've seen the ugly Packers throwbacks too. But let's say they were going to do that. Have them both do that. Like, it's not only, like you said, that the Steelers uniforms was so bad. I called my girlfriend and I said, are you watching Monday Night Football? And she goes, am I ever watching Monday Night Football? And I said, no, but could you turn it on for a minute? And first thing she said, I didn't say a word to her. Right. She goes, oh my God, what are they wearing? And I said, that's what I wanted to see. And then on the other side, you've got the Packers in don't get me wrong. That's a clean look. The white helmet with the G with the white. Like, I thought not for that game though.
Yeah, not against the Steelers. You can't do it against certain teams. This is not when my father-in-law calls me and gripes about the Seahawks wearing those bright greens. That's not what this is. I know why my father-in-law calls, but he's like 80 years old. He's like, what are they wearing? I get it. And we talk and we catch up. By the way, he's a Steelers fan. I still haven't talked to him. I have no clue what he thought of it. I'm almost scared to find out. And it was.
What'd your wife say?
She saw it on social media. She knew I'd react. I came in 20 minutes before kick to tell her. I'm like, have you seen yet? She said, yeah, I saw it. You got to remember, they lived through that bumblebee thing that they've done.
Oh,
Kind of dragging through that. She's got such tough feelings about Rodgers in general that I think that was secondary to her. But I just felt bad, man. I felt bad. I don't root for either of those teams kind of out of principle. Sometimes I do. Certainly last night I did because I can't stand the Packers. So I'll root for the Steelers because of my wife. Sometimes there are teams I can root for the Steelers against, but I was just rooting for visuals to make sense. And if I still just don't
It was
understand.
so aesthetically unpleasing.
it was
Like,
so bad.
If I walk through that meeting delivering coffee and I overhear it, okay, so we're going to go with the 1933 throwbacks for the Steelers and the all whites for the Packers. Whoa. Excuse me. Yeah. I'm Joe. I'm just here delivering the donuts, but that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. What are you doing? Black helmet Steelers. Boom, one on one side. Nothing over here. Packers. Bart Starr. You ever heard of him? Yeah, but Vince Lombardi. Yellow helmet with the G. That's what you wear. You do anything else and you're idiots. And then you walk out. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? All right.
I tip my cap. Let's make sure our devout followers know that the gamble you and I are making for next week, Chad. Not gamble, if you will.
Oh, that's right. We are making the show conditional next week.
Yes.
Next week.
Monday is my pride and joy. It is the Super Cooper event that I help run every single year. Chance is coming to play on my team. So is Chad. Who knows if Jason will show up, but he's invited. We raise a lot of money to help kids get into adaptive athletics. It's a cause that's near and dear to my heart. So we will be participating in that golf tournament on Monday. A lot of former Longhorns coming out. Some news coverage. You can check out Bob Ballou on the news, and you'll see a feature on our little tournament we do every year on the Monday night broadcast. If Texas beats Vanderbilt, we'll record a show next week, even though there's a bye week. If the Fighting Diego Pavias, if the, quote, Mexican Manziel beats Texas, there will be no show next week because I'm going to cry, and then I'm going to go to Super Cooper and have fun, and then we're going to reconvene on the Monday after.
Will Johnny be on the sideline in a Pavia shirt?
For that game, I bet he is.
I bet he is.
I have not heard if he's coming to Austin for
He's never played
going to be
in
there with his mom in a Longhorn jersey.
do what?
Is Theo Vaughn going to wear a Longhorn jersey when he's dating Pavia's mom?
That I don't know. I did not know that was true.
That was a bet made on the Theo Vaughn show. if Pavia won, what game was it?
That's right. Okay, sorry. I thought you were telling me they were
Tennessee, wasn't it?
I think it was the Tennessee game. But if Vanderbilt beat Tennessee, then Theo Vaughn got to go on a date with Pavia's mom.
Wow. That's funny. Yes. So conditional show next week. There will be a show if Texas beats Vandy. If Vandy wins, we will take the week off for the bye week, just like the team will. And certainly the team and the Outsider Nation will probably need it at that point. All right. We are the Outsiders, brought to you by Poncho. Once again, here's some shooting shirts for you. The Roosevelt, the Redfield, they are available. A lot of great long sleeve stuff as the weather starts to turn. Check it out at ponchooutdoors.com. Remember to put in /outsiders for $10 off your first order. And one more reminder about the pink stuff, 50% of the profits from those pink shirts go to help Casting for Recovery. It's a great organization there. Long sleeve pink shirt, the short sleeve pink shirt. Fellas, your lady may want you in pink. You never know. Just ask the question. I'm sure you look dashing in pink. She may want you to grab that Poncho shirt, and you'll be helping a good cause when you do it. Shout out to Poncho and all that they do for us. You guys have a great week. Hopefully, we'll talk to you next week. We'll see. Until then, until the next show, how about that? Jason Dick, we hope to see you on the next show as well. Until the next show, we are the Outsiders, and we are legitimately worth a shit. Take care. See ya.